What's happening, gang? It's your boy Retro back again with another reaction video. Yeah. Today we got a very fiery clip, guys. Things got very heated on the set of The Five. Had to check this one out. This one following, The Rock's message. He's come out and said he's done. It's all over, guys. He's done with Joe Biden. He's done endorsing Joe Biden. And then we got Fox News host Jessica Tarlov coming in with a very delusional take, and trying to say that, Rock's message doesn't mean that, he's completely done with Joe Biden and there's still, chance and room for him to go out there and vote Joe. He's just saying this, to cover up and get his, audience on board. We got Judge Jeanine coming in and clearing up that delusional state that Jessica Tarlov is living in, trying to clear the air for her, let her know, like, this is not what's going on. There is no way that The Rock is going to go back on his word and vote Joe Biden after the words he has said, the statements he's, come out and said to the public. Jessica Tarlov had trouble, comprehending, understanding that, and that's when things got heated. I'm excited to get into this clip and see exactly how Jessica Tarlov tries to back this one up. So we're going to get straight into the clip, and I'll get my thoughts on the back end of the video, guys. So definitely stick around to the end. See, guys, get my thoughts on the back end, and also YouTube push this video out. Definitely stick around until the end, you guys. But yo, let's get straight into it. Before we even do that, though, hit that like button for your boy. It doesn't cost a thing. Make sure y'all hit that like button, guys, and also hit that subscribe button as we're on the road to the truth. Hop aboard for the journey. Let's get into it, y'all.
The Rock is delivering a smackdown on the Biden campaign. Dwayne Johnson is refusing to back Joe Biden this year after lending his endorsement in the last election. The superstar drop kicking the sorry state of Biden's America while speaking with Fox and Friends.
Am I happy with the state of America right now? Well, that answer is no. Do I believe we're going to get better? I believe in that. I'm an optimistic guy, and I believe we can get better. The endorsement that I made years ago with Biden was one I thought was the best decision for me at that time. Am I going to do that again this year? That answer is no. I'm not going to do that because what I realized, what that caused back then was something that tears me up in my guts back then and now, which is division. I wouldn't do that because my goal is to bring our country together.
And as Joe Biden loses big-time celebrities, his pals in the media are finding new ridiculous ways to attack Donald Trump and his voters, like bringing on a cult expert.
The good news is it's not permanent, and people wake up and they are embarrassed and ashamed, as I felt in 1976. But more and more people are leaving the MAGA cult. It's important that people not just yell at people who are still trapped in this delusion. Ask questions in a respectful, curious way that gets them to start realizing they've been conned and that their minds have been hijacked.
Katie, I don't know who that guy is, but he apparently has a solution to taking Trump voters away from Trump. We're living in an alternate reality. Why do you think he says that?
I don't think he really knows what he's talking about. He's this weird cold expert, someone that Jesse might have on his show at some point, right? Did you interview him for your book? Maybe.
I should.
You
but
should.
Thanks for
the next part
reminding everybody about the book.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Still buy
I'm here to do that.
Together.
I think what The Rock was saying was interesting in the sense that we're dealing with the same situation that we were dealing with in terms of candidates as we were in 2020. Here we are again. And he's saying that he made a mistake, essentially, by endorsing Joe Biden. And he talks about the reason why he endorsed him is he wanted to bring the country together. And Joe Biden ran on division. And clearly, none of that has been fulfilled over the past 4 years. Now, he's not saying that he's going to vote for Trump necessarily. And he's on this idea of wanting to bring everyone together and that everyone should agree on these things. He pushes back on the woke agenda. But I think it really just clarifies that Joe Biden ran as a moderate. He ran as someone who was going to be a president for everybody. And he's actually been a very far left, divisive president. And people are starting to realize that in the sense of admitting that they were wrong about the choices that they made publicly in 2020.
One of the things, Greg, that he talks about the woke and cancel culture. And he says that it's more important that you be real and honest and not worry about being canceled. Easy for him to say.
Well, you know what? It's if that's what he said on the air, imagine what he really feels, because he was tiptoeing through the tulips on that topic. Generally, they don't want to say anything, and it's true. it's only big stars who can speak up because they can withstand whatever follows. They're not going to be canceled, but that's why it's important. You know, Clint Eastwood had to wait. Arnold Schwarzenegger had to wait. Sly Stallone, Bruce Willis. These guys were not liberals. Most of them were all Republicans, but they couldn't speak out until they were big enough to speak out because they couldn't be canceled by the awful publicists in Hollywood. But I got to point out that cult expert guy. He looks like a Heaven's Gate member who missed the comet. Do you remember they were trying to jump on a comet? If Trumpism is a cult, it is the worst cult in history because people come and go as they please. Everything is wholly transparent. There's nothing is secretive about it. And people seem to be having a good time. It doesn't seem like they're terrified of reprisals. If this is a cult, then so is Oktoberfest. I mean, Trump, if you want to, I think what you could say about Trumpism, if it's an ism, is that it's more like your favorite team, where you root for your guy, and you root against the other guy, but you still can hang out with the other guy's fans. It's not a big deal, but they can't. But the other team can't do it. People who are pro-Trump have no problems pulling over and helping you change a tire. They don't care if you got a Biden bumper sticker on your car. They'll do it. It's not a two-way street.
Yep. Okay. All right, Jesse, the last time we had one former president run against a sitting president was when Grover Cleveland ran against Benjamin Harrison. Okay. I didn't know either of them. Don't look at me. I know what you're thinking. Right now, it's bad news for Biden because everyone is asked, when you think about it, was your life better under Trump or under Biden? And apparently 60% say their life is bad under Biden. Only 47% say it was bad under Trump.
That's why it's so easy to vote this year, because 4 years ago, you had the guy. It wasn't like you don't remember what it was like 4 years ago. Everybody remembers. The only person who doesn't remember is an old elderly man with a hazy memory. But that's an advantage as a voter because it's so fresh. And that's why people are now saying, well, wait a second. I don't like where we're going. And The Rock, I think this is a business move because he's on the board of directors for the company that owns the UFC and WWE. He knows how many men are out there, how many fans he has. And as a guy like that in the circles that he hangs out with, I am sure he gets such a hard time on the weekends by his buddies. You endorsed that guy? Are you crazy?
I give him so much grief.
I mean, you know how it is
when we
in
play
Hollywood.
Golf.
Right.
Yeah.
Dana White
You're
probably
his caddy,
has
right?
Not when you wrestle.
Yes.
But when you're someone at that level, like a Tom Cruise, you don't want to be political at all.
Yep.
And Tom was good at that. Michael Jordan was good at that. The Rock blew it. And I'm sure he regrets this. And in terms of the cult thing, I just think what they're trying to do is socially shame people for being associated with the Trump movement. They're trying to say, look at these freaks. They wear colorful outfits, that wear silly hats. And you don't want to be associated with them at all. But deep down, you know what, Judge? They're jealous that Biden voters don't have the kind of passion that Trump voters have for Trump.
And you know, Jessica, it's true. They barely show up for Biden. But let me ask you this. You know a lot of Trump supporters. Do we need to be deprogrammed? Be careful.
That's why I come to work every day. No, it is correct that conservatives are much more tolerant of liberals and spending time with them than liberals are of conservatives. That shows up especially in the dating data, that a liberal would never consider going out with a conservative. In the Trump era, obviously things have been different since 2016. So James Carville and Mary Matlin are not happening. Round two there. I think The Rock, yes, he's promoting stuff, but did get a lesson in you can alienate people when you put a perspective out there like that. He's a smart businessman. But we don't know how he's voting. He could very well vote for Joe Biden again. He's just not going to talk about it. And I thought that that was an interesting undercurrent, you know, that Will didn't really push him on. He didn't say, well, what does that mean? He just let him say, my endorsement led to a lot of division. And that really tears me up because he is someone who is liked by people on the left and on the right. And that's a pretty rare thing. There are very few kind of iconic people that are beloved on both sides. But you said in your lead-in question to Jesse, you know, it's just bad news for Biden. The jobs report today was a monster. I mean,
Wait 3 months.
fine when it gets revised
Yes.
down. Also, the part-time jobs, and there's data looking at this. That's a trend that's been happening. It obviously was accelerated through COVID with people opting into that. You still don't add 15 million jobs, and even taking away what we got back from COVID is adding jobs at a faster clip than Trump. To go up to 303,000 when it was supposed to be 214.
But it's
is
going
an
to be
achievement.
revised.
But, no,
and then
but it's
we're-
not.
and we don't do the story when we revise it. We only do this.
That's not true. I hear it all the
Part-time
time.
jobs
But
because
the
people can
revision,
afford
You know what?
guys,
You can talk
you can't-
about the stats, but it's whether or not the people
But actually,
feel it.
people are feeling it on
They
top
are?
of it. Yes,
That
there was
wise-
a very there was really interesting data that came out about people's perspective on the national economy versus their state economies, and they looked at all of the swing states, and people thought the national economy was terrible. It was like at a -30, and individual economies in Wisconsin, in Georgia, Pennsylvania, Arizona, all the states that you need to win to
So
become
why
president.
is Trump ahead
was
in those
pos-
states?
Well, first of all, if you look at it, those polls were within the margin of error. I have talked
But
to
he's
you
ahead.
about
In all but
a
one.
margin of error. It is a jump ball. That's what's going on. If this was the worst economy in the world, which is what you would say about it, there is no way that we would be even close to this. It would be a runaway for the person on the top of the Republican ticket. And it's not, because people know wage growth is up. It's going past the rate of inflation. Unemployment, 3.8%, 26-month streak. We haven't seen that since the 1960s. You have to give some level of credit when credit is due. You have to.
And you have
I
to
just
give
zoned out, Jessica. I was looking at notes for the next segment.
And you have to give credit to the American people who assimilate this and make their own judgment.
Sure, and they voted for
Coming
Joe
up.
Biden.
Yo, there we have it, guys. Oh my goodness. Judge Jeanine absolutely laying a smackdown on that lady Jessica Tarlov. Gets up there with those, far out takes, guys. We just seen The Rock come out and say that he is done with Biden. He is ditching Biden. He fully regrets what he said, in 2020, leading up to what's going on now. And he's trying to retract and remove all those statements from the internet. He's trying to say, I am taking it all back, guys. And that's okay to do, you know what I'm saying? It's okay to say that, you made a mistake in the past, and now you're wise enough to say that, I'm never doing that again. I mean, I definitely can respect and admire, The Rock on that, on that stance right there, because I feel like a lot of people on the left, are just going to, they're going to soil the bed, and they're going to sit in it. They're not going to, they're not going to admit that they've soiled the bed, with this whole Joe Biden thing, guys. I'm so glad to see that we're finally getting these big figures. Maybe it'll get more people on the train of, saying that they made a mistake, voting Joe Biden in, guys, and they're going to never do it again, just because of the way, we see how influential The Rock is, seeing someone of, such high stature, and, in the social scene, just coming out and saying that he's made a mistake, someone that big, putting the whole ego and pride aside to say that he messed up and that he's trying to correct things, by never voting Joe again, guys. Then we got Jess Tarlov trying to say that, there's still potential, there's still room. There's no hope for Joe. We'll say that right now, guys. She's trying to say that, this whole thing is a toss up. This could be a jump ball scenario. Never could it be a jump ball scenario between, Joe Biden and Donald Trump, guys. This is a jump ball between someone who's 7 foot versus a preschooler, guys. Joe Biden's got no shot at winning this jump ball. I would say that right now. Jess Tarlov keeps leaning towards the data, you know what I mean? And I'm so glad we got Judge Jeanine trying to keep her honest, leaning back on what's going on, what's real life perspective, as far as the state of the U.S. economy, how people are really feeling, and Jess Tarlov is trying to break it down and say the studies show, the polling shows, and then Judge Jeanine comes out and says, well, do the people feel what the polls are saying? I mean, and then Jess Tarlov tries to, go back on the whole margin of error thing, guys. That's their whole, bailout right there, guys. If they, feel like they're losing, they hit the margin of error. They're like, there's margin of error within our data, there could be a little bit, just a little bit. Well, the people are feeling a huge margin of error because, Biden's economy, it's terrible. The Bidenomics thing was a full scheme, guys. Biden's doing nothing but, shoveling our money to, foreign entities, guys. His foreign expenditure is through the roof. Between him and Ukraine. I mean, come on now, guys. We can clearly see as, average Americans, guys, the state of the economy, everyday life is way worse than what we were 4 years ago when we had Donald Trump in office, guys. I don't care what the polls are saying, who is voting what. they're messing around with the figures at this point, voting willy-nilly just to, screw with the people on the left's head because they know how much they rely on that data versus what's actually going on, what the people are actually saying. We've seen it ourselves, guys. We watch those clips, we see people get interviewed at, gas stations, local grocery stores, and they'll say, what's going on? How are you feeling about the gas prices? How are you feeling about, your grocery bill, your average, your light bill? What about your income? And people are saying right now, everybody's hurting, their average income has diminished, or stayed the same, and then everything has inflated. I mean, come on now, the average American, everyday American is struggling. I don't care what the polls are saying, guys. Glad we got Judge Jeanine, keeping this lady Jessica Tarlov honest, guys. Definitely have the comment section and let me know your thoughts on this one. We're seeing The Rock come forth and, drop that endorsement on Joe Biden, ditching Joe for good, guys. Definitely hop in the comment section and let me know what you think that means for the fellow American on the left, average American on the left. You guys think they're, waking up now because they got such a huge figure coming forth, a huge star, speaking up and saying they're done with Joe, guys? Definitely hop in the comment section and let me know your thoughts. Also, make sure you guys hit that share button, guys, and share this out to as many Facebook friends as possible, guys. Share the truth. Also, make sure you guys hit that like button. It doesn't cost a thing. Hit that like button for your boy, and also hit that subscribe button, guys. We're on the road to the truth. Hop aboard for the journey. I'll catch you guys on the next week.